All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing good. I'm here. Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff going on overnight. Specifically, we got Nvidia OpenAI with arguably the most significant news release that caused Nvidia to be up where it's at now. It's over 180s. Nasdaq is over 25,000, or was over 25,000 about 5 minutes ago. It recently dipped, but we're definitely watching this 25,000 level. Nvidia and OpenAI have announced a significant expanded partnership. Nvidia will provide OpenAI with its next-gen Blackwell B200 GPUs and dedicated access to its DGX Cloud AI supercomputing platform to build out the infrastructure. And that's affecting markets a lot. Markets are up. Pulling back a little bit right now, but they're up extensively from yesterday when this report came. I'm watching 25,000. Look at gold spike up. Gold over 2,800s this morning. Gold is over 2,800s. We got Jerome Powell speaking a little bit later here. We got Fed speakers as well. Aside from that, honestly, we had AutoZone earnings. European Union is going to look into Apple and Google and Microsoft are adequately policing stuff. Russia's considering an extension on the gas export ban. Ooh, Broadcom filed for an offering yesterday. We covered that. But yeah, the big news is that, again, Nvidia OpenAI news. We're going to do a poll. $100 billion investment. Wang touts as the biggest AI infrastructure project in history. Yeah, Nvidia stock is up yesterday. Inflation dropping Friday. Yeah, Powell speaks 12:35 Eastern. Dip of a lifetime. So you think it's time to buy this dip, Carlos? Maybe, bro. I don't know. Yeah, today we have, just to clarify, let's take a look at yields. Yields are at 4.13%. They're pretty slow though. I mean, they're not really moving that much. They're kind of chopping sideways for the last few days. The yields, 10-year yields, sideways. They're not going to move as much as they do preceding like interest rate decisions like last week. So they're going to be a little bit slower this week. CME Watch Tool currently has rate cuts next month at 92%. This is really unchanged. 8% chance of a 25 basis or a 8% chance of a pause, 92% chance of a 25 basis point cut next meeting in October. Powell speaks at the middle of the day today. He speaks at and today we also have flash and manufacturing PMI. Michelle Bowman speaks at 9 a.m. this morning as well. But yeah, Powell speaks at 12:35 Eastern time. And we got some other stuff this morning, but we got manufacturing services PMI. The U.S. president speaks at 9:50 this morning. We got Powell, we got Trump speaking, we got flash PMI data. I think he speaks again later. Let's do a poll. Yeah, we got PCE on Friday, GDP on Thursday. New home sales tomorrow. But at least it's something. No 8:30 releases today, I think, again. Second day in a row. It's been kind of boring there. But this is after yesterday, or last week's craziness. Yeah, AutoZone, AZO shares are up after the company reported an earnings beat. Cracker Barrel is down after the company issued weak guidance. Yeah, so Nvidia surged. You can see it's over 180s still right now. If you look at Nvidia here at the top, it's over 180s. Gold is elevated. If you look at a 5-minute chart here, gold is up big. Nvidia, if you put a 5-minute chart up, you can see this big gap up from the news that dropped midday yesterday for Nvidia. Other stocks, Apple, still over 250s, up big. You know, a lot of tech stocks had good sympathy from this. Meta didn't really react too much, kind of reacted negatively. Amazon down, but Intel also negatively reacted from this, and it's kind of filling the gap down. It's at 2890s right now for Intel. Does the market hold the gains it's made over the last 24 hours? Is going to be the question for today. That poll is now live. Yeah, gold been running up big, man. Again, when in a stagflation environment, I think it makes sense for gold to run. You know, I think it just makes sense. Both sides, labor report week, you know, people might hedge with gold. Inflation is really the conventional hedge for it, and if we have high inflation in a stagflation environment, people might hedge with gold. And so yeah, gold, new all-time highs in gold are now 38.24 in gold futures. Spot gold might be a little bit different, but that's futures. We'll see what the market gives us today. For early, first couple days of news are kind of boring, but cover some stuff today for sure. Yeah. Yeah, so OpenAI getting 100 billion invested into it by Nvidia is the move pushing markets up. Yeah, it's all good. Love all you do. Greetings from Geneva. What impact do you think today's talks will have on the market? So it's supposed to be for economic outlook, right? It's supposed to be for economic outlook. And so we'll see how much that says. Like if we take a look at the FOMC calendar today, It's supposed to be for economic outlook. Like, he is speaking at the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce 2025 Economic Outlook Luncheon in Warwick, Rhode Island. So, it's supposed to be about economic outlook. It's supposed to start at 10 a.m. as well. We'll see. But yeah, it's supposed to be about economic outlook. I don't know how much they're going to speak about this. I don't necessarily remember him doing this previously. So, yeah, this is 1 week, almost 1 week after, you know, Fed approved their first interest rate cut this year, 25 basis point cut last week. But let me see. Let me look this up. All right, gold's still spiking up. It's at 28.20s roughly right now. 28.20. Okay. Yeah, Bitcoin. If we take a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin up to 113s, but hit 111s this morning, and at least Bitcoin futures. What's up, Sam? What's up, Faye? What's up, everybody else? HOND. Yeah, I don't know anything about this one. This one's run up from 11s in the last week. Made some crazy moves. It's up 50% since February. Looks like it's a SPAC of some sort. It's an acquisition company. Hold on, let me look. Incorporated 2024, based in Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a young company. It's made some big gains though, but I don't really like buying it where it's at. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay, honestly, Gemini's not. Okay. How do I go back to Gemini 5? Because do I have to upgrade for Gemini 5? Gemini has not hit me with right answers today. I'm looking at this 25,000 level in the NASDAQ. I think 25K is going to be an important level to look at. Everything I reference on this channel is in Eastern Standard Time. That's market time, right? So 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. It's 8:30 Central where I'm at, but 9:30 is what I reference because that's market time, and I just kind of keep it universal. Bowman speaks at 9. The president is supposed to speak, I think, at like 9:50 or 9:40 market time. Maybe it was OpenAI 5 that I was. Bro, AI is just making up stuff at this point. Baritone. BERI. I'm not really a big fan of these penny stocks, man. I mean, it's pumped up a lot. It's not really my style. I don't really. The AI software application service provider on a mission. Maybe it's early for them. I'm not sure. You know, they could grow with AI, and it's possible it's early right now for them. Again, I just don't know anything about them. I mean, they're up. They're breaking all-time highs, it looks like. Let me make sure. No, never mind. If you look at a weekly chart on BERI, it's the problem, I think. I'm not saying it doesn't run, right? But look at a weekly chart here. This is the chart that I'm like, like this thing has gone up big, and then something dumped it down when it was at its highest. It's gone up big, and then down, up big, down. You know, now it's back up again. I just don't trust that type of chart. I don't think it necessarily looks good. I don't know much about the company, though. Maybe the company's doing better than it was back then. But this company has been around for, you know, 18 years or 8 years now. They've never really held the gains they've made. Even if they're getting involved with something else, the companies that generally succeed, I think, are companies that don't keep switching to new businesses. You know, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Short term, maybe, but yeah. But yeah, today, Powell's commentary was scrutinized for any change in the outlook he gave last week. He may use this speech to manage expectations. His view on the health of labor market and economic stuff is critical. Any concerns about a slowdown could reinforce the case for cuts. Fear of inflation could do the opposite. Yeah, it's going to be in the middle of the day today. But yeah. No, it's on economic outlook. So today's Fed speech is on economic outlook. Yeah, I'm trying to look back and see what Powell said in the last type of speech like this he did. I just don't know if AI is accurate enough. Right? Like, I'm asking AI, I'm like, hey, look back, see if he did this speech last year. If he did, summarize it for me so I can see what he said and see if it moved markets, right? Yeah, I don't think he spoke at the Providence Chamber of Commerce luncheon last week. But he did speak at the Economic Club of New York in October last year, and it moved markets. S&P fell, yields and treasury bonds spiked. But in October of last year, Powell was about to cut again. 25 basis points. Powell last year cut 25 in September, 25 in November, and 25 in December last year for a total. Oh, no. Powell cut a full percentage point last year. He cut 50 in September, 25 in November, 25 in December. So. Yeah, gold over 3,800, getting really close to the all-time highs, which is right here. Like, look at gold right here. Very close to the all-time highs. I don't know if I'm feeling this music as much. Yeah, Nvidia, again, the big story today, guys, if you're just not tuning in, the big story today is that Nvidia is investing $100 billion into OpenAI. This came out yesterday, but markets are still elevated from this. Nvidia up huge from this report. If you look at it right here, look at Nvidia up here. It's way up. This is a big move up. And Nvidia hasn't been around these levels in a while. If we take a look at Nvidia's all-time highs here. Nvidia broke all-time highs yesterday on this story, right? It got up to 184.50s, all-time highs. So new all-time highs on Nvidia are 184.50s, and Nvidia is at 182s roughly right now. So Nvidia is close to all-time highs. It could make a push for it. If Powell says something optimistic during the speech, maybe it'll move things. But that's the big story of the day, is Nvidia, other tech moving on the all-time high break from the $100 billion investment into OpenAI. And so I would assume, since Microsoft owns a piece of OpenAI, that Microsoft benefited from this yesterday. No? Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, Nvidia back over 180s. It's been really struggling to hold. It's been down. Former St. Louis Pred Bullard suggests potential rate hike could be considered in October in a CNBC interview. What the heck is this, bro? I don't know what that was. Hold on. Yeah, so Bullard said that just now. I mean, I don't think that there's a chance we do that at all. I mean, PCE, maybe he knows something we don't in terms of PCE inflation, which drops this Friday. But Bullard just said, 20 minutes ago at least, that we're lucky we don't do a rate hike in October. I think that would be crazy. Yeah, I don't know what that was. My bad, guys. Yeah, so I'm trying to look up here. So Microsoft does not own OpenAI, but it does have a big commercial and financial partnership. Microsoft invested heavily into OpenAI. It includes a multi-billion-dollar investment. They have the right to use OpenAI's infrastructure and IP property in its own products like Copilot, and says Microsoft is entitled to share profit distributions under some of their agreements, but that does not necessarily equate to ownership. They get like a little bit of a profit share. Remains an independent company governed by non-profit parent organization. I would assume Microsoft would benefit from the investment from Nvidia into OpenAI, but they haven't really moved this. This came out midday yesterday. It's what popped Nvidia up and other stuff. We have big names that didn't do good yesterday. Amazon was big red on big green day for the market. Maybe it's something to buy. Amazon bullish. Looking at our poll, we're pretty 50-50 split. 51% say yes, 49% say no. So we're pretty split down the middle here. All right, so the Nasdaq's pulling up. I might short this at 21.5K. I also think that there's a chance we want to get over 25K though, so I might wait. Gold is sideways, but if we get a reasonable dip in gold, I don't know what I want to do. I think gold is so high right now that maybe I think it wants 4,000 to be honest short term, and that's the only thing that makes me want to buy gold a little bit more. Oracle going to continue to run. Yeah, Oracle has been up major. Look at Oracle's longer term chart here. This is a crazy chart for Oracle. Like, look at this. Like, I looked at it in a weekly chart. Look at Oracle's weekly chart. It's in the last few years since AI has taken off, but look at 2025. Oracle is up, you know, basically, Oracle's up a few 100% just this year. It's not really my favorite time to buy Oracle, although I think Oracle could continue to do well, but that's a big move up. I'm gonna have to look up like the PE ratio and stuff for Oracle on the TikTok news. Yeah. Pretty convinced we're more in an 80s stagflation environment than an 08 style recession. Yeah, I mean, we don't see all the signs that we're in a recession yet. And I say this, for some reason, people like, they latch on to the word recession and they say we're in a recession. And when I say that, they get upset. You know, labor report weakness does not mean recession. And we're not there yet. I don't think we're in either one of those scenarios yet. Right? We don't have the inflation that we got. But I would say it's kind of like the 80s in some ways. But we're not there yet either, I think. Yeah, I saw two different beaches. All right, so I wanted to short this level. We tapped it just now. We tapped it. Nothing else yet, but. Yeah, I'm looking up some other stuff here. So somebody asked me between the dynamic between all right, I'm looking at real estate stuff too. Real estate rates is what a lot of people are looking at to see if they come down. And there's been a lot of like worry about real estate rates. Again, I've heard some arguments that like everybody's sitting on a lower mortgage rate right now, and when rates start to come down, they're going to start unloading their properties that they've been stuck in since interest rates went up, because if they refinance now, they're going to pay 2 or 3 times more in interest and just more in general in mortgage payments than they were prior to that. And now they're waiting for interest rates to go down so they can unload their properties and then get into similar interest rates at new properties, so that they don't necessarily want to stay in their current property, but the interest rates that they're offering right now are too high, and the ones they got are locked in at lower rates. So yeah, let's take a look. I'm looking at Powell's last speech as well. But so most of the time, indexes and the US dollar move inversely to each other. Like if you look at the Dixie here, most of the time the Dixie and the index, or the Dixie and like the SPY, are gonna move inverse to each other. So look, we're trying to get over that 25,000 level now. So like yesterday was a big day in tech. Nvidia and others went up. Put up the QQQ, it'll probably be even more like obvious. But then yesterday the Dixie dropped. But most of the time the Dixie and indexes move inverse to each other. Probably because of the dynamic of like many big tech companies earn a bunch of stuff overseas. Gold and the dollar inverse each other too. All right, sorry, I'm catching up on the. Talked to my dad a bit yesterday. He's finally convinced my grandmother to sell her house and move into a blue duplex my aunt owns. So glad to see it. Her house needs so much work. Can't do it. Yeah. Buy the dip worked again. Yeah, buying dips has worked really well the last like little bit. I don't know why, but yeah, we got Powell today. That'll be interesting. Yeah, we're definitely seeing more properties. We got to wait for rates to actually drop, though. Even though we cut 25 basis points, that's not going to bring them down like meaningful amounts until we get deeper rate cuts, right? Tomorrow we'll get another update into 30-year mortgage rates. Last time they showed up at 6.39. They're still high for 30-year mortgage rates, but the time before that, I think it was like 6.5 or something. So everybody's still waiting for mortgage rates to decrease. Now we're over 25K, so I'm looking at this level. We'll see. But again, Nvidia is the one I'm watching. Nvidia is close enough to all-time highs where I'm kind of interested in just paying attention to it today. Still trying to get over 25K. $25.1 today. Day 4, got it. Gold moves inverse the dollar. Yeah, gold generally does. Powell's at 12.35 today. Europe house prices go down because the taxes are way too high. Yeah, maybe. CoreWeave is ripping, so PRWV. I'm sure CoreWeave is gonna rip up with AI like hype, right? It's an AI company. It's at 135s this morning. If we look at CoreWeave. 136, so it's up a lot, you know. See if it reacted to yesterday's news. Yeah, so you can see this, like here's CoreWeave. Look at the volume increase right here, and that's like a very slow part of the day. Drag this a bit higher so you can get it. But like, look at the volume increase, CoreWeave right here. So you can see that OpenAI. So basically, Nvidia is investing 100 billion into OpenAI. This came out midday yesterday. You can see the volume spike right here, and then look at CoreWeave spike up with it. So there's a lot of sympathy that happens in AI stocks, and that's kind of what we're seeing here. Is we're just seeing AI stocks run because of that dynamic of, you know, big investment into AI, OpenAI. So this shows that Nvidia is investing into Intel and AI and OpenAI. So it's not just one company, and I think that's a good sign. But all right, so look now, the Nasdaq. I'll probably try to. I've made more money trading gold the last few days, day trading gold, than I have the NQ. Yeah, no 8:30 data releases, but we do have Jerome Powell speaking at 12:35, and we do have, we have flash manufacturing and services PMI 945, right? So we do have flash manufacturing and services dropping. It's kind of slow. I don't really see any big market moving news. We had Bullard say much earlier that potential rate hike could be considered for October in a CNBC interview. And while I don't necessarily agree with this, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Nvidia, Bernstein, OpenAI deal a positive catalyst, according to Bernstein. Bernstein reiterated an outperform on Nvidia with a 225 price target, citing its new partnership with OpenAI may invest up to $100 billion as OpenAI deploys 10 gigawatts of data center capacity using Nvidia systems, with a first one GPU coming online in second half of next year. Analyst Stacy Raskin sees the deal as supportive of Nvidia's growth into next year with no near-term risk, while AVGO, which is Broadcom, shares dipped on the news. Bernstein views AI spending growth as positive for both, favoring high-quality leaders like Nvidia and Broadcom. Taking a look at Tesla this morning. Tesla's ripping up too. Tesla almost to 440s. UBS is Tesla Q3 deliveries above consensus. They raised their Tesla Q3 delivery forecast to 475,000 units, about 8% above previously, and up 24% quarter over quarter. And it reflects strong U.S. demand ahead of the IRA tax credit phase out. Record U.S. deliveries since mid-2023 and solid growth in Europe, China, Turkey, and South Korea. UBS expects deliveries to exceed production by 7%, reducing Q2 inventory, but forecasts a sequential drop 428K units in Q4. Full year 25 remains at 1.62 million vehicles. Robinhood's price target was raised over the last 5 minutes as well to 140 at Piper Sandler, and prediction market growth. Piper Sandler raised target to 140 from 120, citing strong upside from prediction markets. Yeah, I don't really see the other big news. I mean, we got some upgrades just now. Tesla deliveries were upgraded a little bit also. Hmm. All right, I'm catching back on the chat. Yeah, the news is slow today. I think everybody's waiting for Powell. I think approximately 8 new issuers could sell new U.S. investment-grade debt tomorrow, according to Bloomberg. Semper announces strategic transactions advancing goal of building leading U.S. utility growth businesses. Fiscal year adjusted EPS at 430 to 470. We had AutoZone earnings. Bro, wait. Is this a live stock right now? Wait a minute. Why does AutoZone show its price at $4,121 a share? Am I missing something? Hold up. Am I missing something on AutoZone? For an October rate cut, we need the worst CPI, PPI, PCE data we've seen since 1984. What do you mean by worse? You mean a hike, I'm assuming, Nick. Like, in order to get an October hike, we need bad CPI, bad PCE, bad core PCE, bad PPI. I'm assuming that's what you mean, a hike. Hey, thank you, none of your business. Music is good. Pepe will rise again. I've checked out Veritone. It's not really good. To me, it looks not good. I mean, it's breaking highs, don't get me wrong, but look at a weekly chart. It looks terrible as a company. And again, I'm going to clarify, I'm not against you. It just does not look like a good stock. And I think the problem is that it could run. Like, it really could run. It might not, though. Remember, not an investment professional. Understand all this stuff. I can't guarantee anything. The problem with VERI is that VERI has a terrible chart history. This thing went up to $75, and that's assuming we're not split, or like the split, any reverse splits or splits didn't impact the price. It went up to $75, and then it went back down to $1, and then it went back up to 50, and it went back down to 0.94 cents, $2, whatever it was, and now it's back up to 570 again. And so the probability that it's going to hold the gains it makes is probably low, but it might. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but I don't like the chart. Yeah, we got all-time highs on the NASDAQ, over 25,000. New all-time highs are over 25 and 25. So, I think 25,000 is a big milestone number too, though. I think 25K is a big milestone number. And again, here's Nvidia. Look at Nvidia down here. Yesterday we bought Target and Coca-Cola. And we're green on those. We're not very green. Most of them haven't moved much. Yeah, Tesla at 440s right now. It's been climbing up though. It was at 340s earlier this month, right? It's now up to almost 440. All right, guys, so we're now back under 25,000. I don't know what I want to do with this, though, in the NASDAQ. Gold is kind of flat. I'm still looking at gold. Yeah, we got the president speaking today. We do have that. The prez does speak today. Honestly, what's going on with AutoZone, though? Does it have a normal price, or is it really $4,000 a share with a tiny float? Okay, so it's literally $4,121 a share. And what's wild is that if you look at the AutoZone history here, look at AZO history. Look at a daily chart. This thing's up a big percentage this year, too, since October of last year, man. Wow. I didn't know AutoZone had this big. Again, just to put this into perspective for everybody that might not understand this. If a company, if a basic company like AutoZone is thousands of dollars a share, it probably means the float is not very large, right? The amount of shares out there is not very large, right? So if we're 4,121 a share and we only have 16 million shares in the float, that means AutoZone has a market cap of roughly 65 billion, right? 66 billion. Let me see. Yeah, there's outstanding shares, but yeah, the float's a little bit over 16, so I'm showing 69 billion, right? But that's how you calculate like the value of a company. Y'all can't see this, sorry. Here, 66 billion, 69 billion, whatever. It's roughly 65 to 70 billion dollar market cap. And so a company in theory can have a super expensive share price like this at 4,121 if they don't have that many shares in the float. Now, another example would be like Apple was kind of the opposite story, where Apple has a big float, but a lower price, right? So if you look at the Apple float is roughly almost 15 billion, 14.8 billion. And so if you do the same math here, if you look at Apple, you can find the value of Apple's company just by calculating the outstanding shares times the float. Or I'll do the outstanding shares, hold on. Yeah, Apple had about 15 billion shares. So Apple, 15 billion versus, you know, remember, Apple has 15 billion shares out there. AutoZone has 16 million. Way smaller, which in the smaller the float, the more volatile it is, because the smaller the float, the less shares that are out there. So that, like, if you think about it, each individual position might move that stock a little bit more because there's less shares out there. So when you buy shares of a smaller float company, you're effectively buying like a larger percentage of said company. And in that regard, you can move the stock a little bit easier. It's not easy to move any of them. I'm not telling you to move them, but that's what it is. And so if you take 15 billion, which is the outstanding shares for Apple, you multiply it times 255, which is the share price of Apple right now, you get the value of Apple, which is almost 4 trillion. And that's basically how you do it. Right? That's how you calculate the value of a company, and you kind of look it up. So the point I'm trying to make is when you see 4,121 here on AutoZone, and you know AutoZone's not competing with Apple or anything like that, you can just assume the float's small. Like, it has a tiny float. Hope all that makes sense. That's just kind of how you look at stuff with markets. What is the last CPI report expected? What do you mean the last? So we have this week, we have GDP and PCE data. PCE is the Fed's preferred inflation metric, although people tend to watch CPI a little bit more, but we have PCE on Friday this week at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's a big report that might move market, right? That's a report you probably want to watch. And so you want to pay attention to that report. We also have GDP data Thursday, Q2, third revision GDP. So like one of the final GDP reports to look at. Yeah, there's just a lot of stuff. And then next week we have the next non-farm payroll report. We got the next labor report next Friday. The last few have been really volatile and interesting. The next CPI report, CPI is usually first like 2 weeks into the month. Like the first week or two into the month is when CPI. I would say it's like 10, or it's like there's usually a schedule that they give you. CPI is released for a given month, 2-week lag from the end of the reference month. So typically around the middle of the month. Like, I would say it's usually on like the 12th or the 13th of the month for CPI. So we're not going to have CPI for another few weeks, at least. Amazon isn't like Chipotle. Let me put it in live chat. I think I'm probably missing some. Yeah, let me look this up. So yeah, Oracle went up 6.3% after yesterday's OpenAI boom. Micron saw gains. If you look at Micron, although I don't know if Micron really moved with this, but it's up some. TSMC up big this morning. Look at TSM. And I think maybe the Intel news pushed this one down a little bit. Yesterday when this news came out, though, it ran big too. 282s right now for TSM. Supermicro Semiconductors is up on this news too. Look at the big run from SMCI here as well. So we had some stocks that moved with the Nvidia news. We did have some stuff move. Yeah, I saw he's supposed to speak at 9:40, or give or take. I'm not exactly sure when, but it's somewhere around there. Like, I see he's scheduled to speak once today at 9:50 market time. 9:50 market time. He also speaks at 7:20 tonight. Eastern time, so I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, today at 9:50, it's the address to the UN General Assembly in New York. I mean, it might move markets. It's gonna be 20 minutes after the market opens, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see there. All right, so Secretary of State Rubio said I had meetings with India on Monday in an ABC News interview. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We don't really have a lot of news. Meta's AI model Llama is available to key allies in Europe and Asia, as well as NATO and EU institutions, according to a report a couple minutes ago. But I'm curious. We're under 25K, but I think we want to get over it, so I don't know which direction to take here. Gold is around all-time highs again. And maybe, leading into Powell's speech, we'll get gold movement. I'm not sure. All right, so look at this pop here in the market. The NASDAQ just ripped up here. Yeah, we're moving up a little bit. We got Jerome Powell speaking today too, so we'll see what that looks like. I can turn the music down if you guys want, but we're gonna be trading today, but the market just spiked up here. I'm trying to see if this is Nvidia related. Hold on. Doesn't look like it's Nvidia related. Apple, no. Google, Meta, no. Microsoft. Something's ripping up. Gold's pulling down. Yeah, I'm looking for sources here, but yeah, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, autos is a ridiculous chart. Look at the spike though we're getting here. We made money yesterday day trading. I just don't know what I'm going to do today. Yeah, well, this is the top 100. This is the NASDAQ 100 right here. Oh. Tesla. Could be Tesla. Yeah, Tesla's pushing. It could be Tesla. I think. Let's see. Oil back up to 63. It was down a lot yesterday. We're fishing for stuff here, but pretty quiet, honestly. I'm not really seeing a lot of stuff. Yeah, we said Meta AI Llama is available for overseas use. This is a big green candle. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green 1 minute candles. Could be MU, could be Tesla here. Here's Tesla. Tesla is pushing up right now. Could be Tesla related. Tesla got an upgrade this morning on their delivery numbers potentially here. So I might buy 25,000. If we get a dip to 25K, I might buy that dip now. Gold tends to trend a little bit better long term, I would say. So like trend continuations, I would say, are easier in gold. We also had the Brazil finance minister Haddad says there is no justification for the current interest rate levels in Brazil, according important to bring inflation back to target range. Jim Cramer said, quote, "I would like to see a pause in the endless rally of speculation, gold, crypto, and profitless companies," end quote. Jim Cramer. Also, Lowe's files for a 5-part notes offering, though they didn't discuss the size. I think this is Tesla-related movement here. Tesla and Nvidia both up significantly here. Nvidia's close enough to all-time highs where I'm kind of optimistic, but I'll wait. Yeah, Moran argued yesterday argues that trade policy changes by boosting savings are a factor that will reduce the neutral rate of interest, among several others. AI was cited, another factor behind a structurally high neutral rate, finally, while software investments, and this is quoting Moran, finally, while software investments last decade was capital light and suppressed rates, the 2020 seemed to be more demanding on hardware for national security purposes and new AI technology, which Nvidia's booming stock price is a testament. The capital-intensive nature of hardware investment relative to software means, all else being equal, higher neutral rates. Conclusion is that, quote, "If the Fed is wrong and these structural changes to the economy have pushed neutral higher, then policy is not nearly as restrictive as the Fed believes," end quote. You guys agree with that? I don't know. We get a dip down to 25, I might buy it, but I'd like a dip down to 25. Gold's now spiking back up a little bit here. It's at 38.16. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to hold, though. Yeah, you gotta love Kramer. It might be a bullish thing for Bitcoin if Kramer said that, though. You know, I'm not saying it is. Again, not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Don't copy me. Might have no idea what I'm talking about. Might be wildly wrong about anything I say. Don't copy me. I don't listen to Jim Cramer. I'm just looking at. I definitely watch his tweets though. Just for the inverse Cramer dynamic, I think his tweets are fun to watch. Not because I think he's right, but because he's wrong so much. I like Cramer though, but he's wrong a lot, and he's wrong enough to where there's inverse. Powell today is supposed to talk about economic outlook. It's supposed to be about economic outlook. We'll see, but it's scheduled to be economic outlook. All right, look, here's a dip. I might start buying a dip. Hold on, let me see. Don't copy me. Definitely not. Top 3 least financial professionals in the world right now. I'm going to buy this dip, I think. Take a little bit more. Maybe add 2 more if we continue down. The range is small, though. All right, we're going to add a little bit more down here, just a little bit, if we pop back higher. $25,000 seems to be a milestone level, but if we're not respecting it, we're not respecting it. So I like the range, though. I want to give it time. The question is, what does Powell say today, right? Markets might be muted waiting for what Powell says. And so if you think Powell's going to be dovish, market might run. If you think Powell's going to be hawkish, market might not run. Or vice versa. I don't think the market wants hawk Powell. It depends on how much they fear inflation. But, yeah, I don't know. There we go. I'll take a little bit off up there just to protect. Take a little bit more off up there, too. Sit on the rest. Powell's at 1235. $12.35 or so. We got some room to let it work now, but it's a big drop. We still could bounce off of 25. So I can probably get out break even here, but I want to see if we bounce off of 25. 25 just seems like the level, but that's a big candle too. Polish Prime Minister Tusk says border crossings with Belarus are going to be reported. White House said they expect Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill to pass by the end of this year. It's a small trade. I can let it work. I really want to let it test this level. We got the 200 exponential here and 25,000, which is a psychological level. Big hold dollar number too. The problem is this was running a lot with Tesla and Nvidia, and they're starting to kind of pull back a little bit. They're kind of primed for bounces too, maybe, but we're flat on the position right now. Open Door. So many people have talked about Open Door lately, bro. Open Door is run big, but I don't know enough about it, and it seems to kind of not be profitable as a company. And so if it's not profitable as a company, it's a momentum play, and the momentum's big. It might keep running. I don't know when it's going to stop. I really don't. But if the profitability's not there, it might not hold. What do you guys think of Open Door? Y'all like it? Dislike it? What do you guys think? So we got the bounce right at 25,000, and now we're just breaking down here. I think I just got to cut this. So we got out mostly flat, but we're just kind of sideways here. I think maybe the market's waiting for Powell. Probably watching gold a little bit too. I think gold's easier to scale into as well. Gold's been benefiting a lot from all the stuff going on. The meme stock, yeah. I'm not really one that chases that type of stuff. Like, I don't really care about like edge and meme stocks. I just don't. It's not something that I do well. It's too stressful for me. I would rather find a little bit better edge somewhere else. You know? And everybody's different. Everybody, you know, attacks different stuff. But just for me, it's just not really my style. Yeah, look at the pumpers. The pumpers went to BETR, bro. BETR hit almost $100 a share. It was at 770s to start the year. It got up to 94. Now it's back down to under 50. Yeah, just y'all, or no, now it's back up to over 60 again. It's risky though. Y'all just be careful. Right, if Zillow tried and failed, what makes OPEN be able to do it successfully is my question. This is the question I asked a couple weeks ago when people were talking about same stock, right? Same question. If Zillow, one of the largest real estate companies in the world, tries and fails to do what OPEN is doing, what makes OPEN be able to do it? And they're losing money. That's my issue with it. They're losing money. Gold is falling down quickly right now. At the bottom of the range. It might be time to give it back though. Gold's up a lot. Yeah. It's still close to all-time highs for gold. Like, still early to tell with gold. Gold could make a run. It depends on what Powell says. If they think Powell's going to fear inflation, maybe gold runs up into Powell. You know, if Powell comes out hawkish, which, you know, we can only speculate what Powell's going to do. But if he comes out hawkish, maybe gold runs. I don't know. Zillow ended up with a huge inventory of unsold repaired property that had to auction off. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well, P. It's just, I don't know if it's going to help those markets. I really don't. Yeah, I'm looking at other websites here to see what we get, but Secret Service dismantled telecom threat. so it's almost 8:30. I don't think we got any big data release at 8:30. We had Mexican activity come out. Oh, we got Goolsby starting to speak at 8:30. Current account data for Q2 was negative 259 billion. Expectation last time was negative 450.2 billion. That data does drop. Current account index measures the change between exported and imported goods, services, interest payments during the month. A lot of it is the same kind of trade balance data, but doing gold and the rest of this dude. Yeah, 9:45 we have flash and services PMI manufacturing data. We do have flash data. Now look at the NASDAQ fall and gold push. We did get into a trade in gold here, but it's so volatile at this point. We are up a little bit here in gold, kind of going back and forth. If I could take another little piece off up there, there we go. And get out the rest there. Dude, I've done so much better day trading gold. Probably just leave this if gold continues to bounce. Intel, I think, is like, so Intel got the big investment. Everybody was hyped up from Nvidia, and then people saw that they did it also with Intel was one of the stocks that reacted the most negatively from yesterday's OpenAI Nvidia $100 billion announcement. So I don't know. Look at Nvidia fall here, guys. Look at Nvidia. See if there's any breaking news for Nvidia. Current account was negative 251.3 billion. Negative 251.3. All right, something's spiking my gold trade here. Could be the current account data. Add a little bit to this. I try to hold the rest close to break even now. All right, look at Nvidia down to 181.70s. Nvidia's still close to all-time highs, but Quantum took a dip. That's something to buy gold is 10 a.m. every day. It's gonna, I don't know about that. Maybe, I don't know. And so we bought a little bit more of gold here. I'm trying to let it work. There we go. We'll take another half off up there. If we keep running. Not, we'll hold the rest break even or so, but I'm gonna cut out here. So I am green on the day. I made a good bit of money on gold, man. I do much better with gold. I don't know why. I don't know why I do much. Hey, buddy. You doing, bud? Love you, buddy. Hey. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry. Yeah. So we got out of gold. Gold spiked up a little bit. Do you expect a correction on gold? I love it. I don't know. I think it depends on what we think Powell's going to say today. If Powell says dovish things, I don't know what gold's going to do. If he fears inflation, gold might go up more. So it depends on what Powell says. I think we're honestly in a tight range. That's why I sold up here, is because gold's in this range right now. So I buy the bottom, sell the top is kind of the logic of it. And gold range is better than a lot of other assets. So I was speaking at 12:35 Eastern time today. We'll stream it all live as soon as it happens. So don't worry. Gold might keep pushing up too. I really don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, so Powell's going to be at 12:35 p.m. Plug? Yeah, people were talking about plug yesterday. I mean, I like gold both long-term and short-term. So Goolsby is speaking right now. Goolsby says U.S. remains in low hiring, low layoff phase. So Goolsby is speaking right now. We're going to cover this as soon as he starts, but Goolsby is speaking right now. Philly Fed non-manufacturing activity 12.3, previous was 17.5. Yeah, so Goolsby actually speaking right now. Let's see where he's speaking. All right, Goolsby. Vince. Silver has industrial demand as well as safe haven demand. I'm loving silver. Yeah, silver is interesting. They use silver a lot with iPhones, right? And with smartphones, mobile devices. But sometimes there's also like another weird dynamic where because they use silver in that context, they want to keep the price lower for margin purposes sometimes, right? I'm not saying always, but I think in terms of silver, that's why it's kind of underperformed gold historically sometimes. Is because, you know, I mean, in terms of gains it's made, especially over the last 10, 15 years. But yeah, I like gold long-term and short-term. I like day trading gold on both sides, but I also like buying, averaging into gold long-term. I'm not an investment professional, don't copy me. Also, you can check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT rule in futures. Beautiful way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. And so does it make any sense to fund your own account? Like, that's what other people will recommend. Oh, fund your own account. You're probably going to lose. It doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, who your mentor is. you're probably going to lose day trading, regardless of where you go, including Top Step. But Top Step is $50 a month to learn. You still risk something. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. If you fail, you lose $50. It's the best of both worlds. 90% on the funded account. You get to keep your first 10K as well prior to that split kicking in. And so it's similar to funding your own account with way less risk. $50, $100, $150 for the top one. It just makes sense. Futures is very similar to day trading stocks. The patterns are similar. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, commodities. It's just a good way to learn. And again, if you want to put them up, they are a sponsor of mine. I am biased because I get paid by them, but genuinely useful. Genuinely useful. If you want to check it out, here's the link. Understand all this stuff on screen. Again, top 3 most biased ever, but genuinely useful. Check them out. They also have their back to funding option, so you can now reset funded accounts. Silver's pumping today too, though. Yeah, Goolsby essentially said we have a low hiring, low layoff market. We did not move inflation target. Have to get inflation to 2%. Anyone saying we're raising the inflation target, that's dangerous talk. I think we are mildly restrictive right now. Austin Goolsby. He said the neutral is below where we are now by 100 to 125 basis points. So that's 1 to 1.25%. Yeah, that's 1 to 1.25%. Honestly, next week's probably going to be busier than this week, but the end of this week is very busy. So like Thursday, Friday, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Yeah, Jerome Powell at 1235. Ooh, I don't know what he's going to say. We'll see. I do my best, but... All right, so look at this tight range here. I'm still looking up news. Tesla up to almost 440s. Nvidia still at 182s. Gold rebounding at 38.16s here. We need to be a bit careful about getting aggressive. This is the kind of talk that will keep metal moving forward. I don't know. I bought Target on the dip, and we're green a little bit in it, but... it's squeezing, pushing price way up, and they're still heavily short. CME might step in and protect banks to slow the run. Low hiring and low firing as a precursor to recession. Yeah, I mean, I get it. But, all right, so Goolsby still speaking. He said we need to be a bit careful about getting aggressive. I think rates can come down some if we're on a path to getting inflation back to target. Right now, I'm not thinking about 50 basis point cuts. Again, he thinks neutral is 100 to 125 basis points below where we're currently at for Goolsby. Yeah, we do have Jerome Powell later. Look at how sideways the market is, man. I'm looking at Goolsby speaking, but we're green on the day. I mean, we made money, but White House said they expect the crypto market structure bill to pass this year. Goolsby says the labor market continues to cool at a mild and modest pace. Von der Leyen says a pattern of persistent contestation at borders. We will respond to this with strength. And again, Goolsby did say earlier, a couple minutes ago, I think rates can come down some if we're on a path to getting inflation back to target. NASDAQ pushing up a little bit. It's at 38.16. Tesla at 440s. SPY at $666. Guys, NASDAQ up, gold back up, and maybe I should have held gold, but we made so much money on it short term. I think it's okay to lock some profit in. Goolsby says labor market continues to cool, modest pace. Supply side of labor is moving all around with immigration. Yeah, we got Bowman speaking at 9 a.m. The president is supposed to speak at 9:50 today. Nobody really knows what he's going to talk about, really. And generally when he speaks, it's like he'll say one thing, and then he'll pivot to something else, and then he'll pivot to something else, and then he'll pivot to something else. So he might have a, he might have a topic he's scheduled to speak about, but we don't know what he's going to say. He might say a bunch of different stuff. We'll have to wait. Yeah, BMNR is wild though, dude. I don't know what this thing's doing. Bitmine. This thing's volatile. Yeah. Still looking at Goolsby speaking. Waiting for more updates. But again, the last thing he said is labor market continues to cool at a mild, modest pace. Supply side of labor is moving all around with immigration. Market is a scam held by a couple $1 trillion companies. Maybe. Yeah, Better's very volatile. Aren't altcoins down big? What are altcoin prices? We're at 38.17s. Buy slightly green, but very flat. Gold still edging higher. Gold's at all-time highs today. And again, I think a lot of people have agreed that the biggest benefiter from a lot of the stagflation talk is gold. Right? Yeah, so the OECD warns that the president's tariffs will damage the global economy. Scientists are pushing back at the comments on effects. Walmart plans to start delivering Ozempic to U.S. homes. But yeah, the OECD warned that the world economy has yet to feel the full impact of the tariffs. But it's coming, with the U.S. economy set to slow next year. And as his levies curtail manufacturers' access in China to the U.S. market, they are flooding the rest of the world with exports. It's causing alarm in Latin America and other regions, according to Bloomberg. As governments ponder the potential damage to the domestic industries. Still looking to see if, yeah, I don't really see anything. Dogecoin at 24 cents, XRP at 287s, Bitcoin at 113. So you think Ethan Bitcoin will run soon? I'm not sure. Hard to. I mean, I think long term they'll probably be fine, but I'm not an investment professional, and I hold Bitcoin, I hold others, but long term I think they'll be fine. Short term, you never know. Markets can be volatile in that context. Gold's still pushing towards all-time highs here. It's hard to tell whether gold's going to continue chopping in this range or rebound back up some. Okay, my bad, pawn. Sorry, brother. All right, NASDAQ push it up a little bit, getting to the top of the recent range. Remember, oh wait, this is gold. Sorry, NASDAQ, gold pushing up to the top of the range. NASDAQ is as well. It's over 25,000. I still kind of want to buy this dip in the NASDAQ, but I don't know if I necessarily trust it a lot. We might still try to buy 25K if we get a dip down to it. So the U.S. electric vehicle sales are virtually certain to tumble when the 7,500 tax credit for EV buyers ends October 1st. But do y'all think that's baked into markets already? Like, do y'all think that's baked into markets already? Because I think it's possible. Gold at the top of the range. If we get another dip, maybe I'll buy it. But electric golf carts. Bro, golf carts are ridiculously expensive, bro. Like 5K for like a Hot Wheel, like a souped up Hot Wheel is a little bit. Yeah, there's a Powell speech today at 12:35 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, again, the big news today, if you can read it at the bottom, is Nvidia, and this is why we're watching Nvidia. Nvidia investing 100 billion into OpenAI. What's weird is that I thought we'd get like a better reaction. We got Powell speaking today at 12:35. I was gonna buy a 25K dip, we just never quite got it. Yeah. No, Tesla's up big after Elon bought $1 billion worth of shares. That's what Tesla's still reeling from, I think. That was what, like a week ago. Tesla's still pushing up, but yeah. All right, NASDAQ continuing to climb higher here. We got a little bit of a trend. If we look at a 5-minute chart, I think you can probably see it a little bit clearer here. But we will see. Maybe I should have tried buying 25K again, but it's all right. Yeah, remember, we got Jerome Powell later. Maybe we'll get another chance to buy 25,000. We're close to it. The 200 exponential is right around that spot. I think, yeah, so the President Trump speaks at 9:50 market time. Redbook showed up at 5.7%, 5.7. Bitcoin's still pretty low, right? Gold is the play. Yeah, gold's been the play. I've been making much more money on gold than the NASDAQ here. I'm green on the day from gold specifically. So I've just been making much more in the day on gold. Everything else is kind of tough to figure out, but 12:35 Eastern time. No, he's supposed to give a talk about economic outlook. So it's not supposed to be some nonsense speech. It's supposed to be about economic outlook in some way. So we'll see. But yeah, it's supposed to be economic outlook speech. You never know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, the president speaks at 9:50. Powell speaks at 12:35. We got 30 minutes until the opening bell. We've only took 1 or 2 trades today, green on the day. But it hasn't been an easy day necessarily to make money. It's been kind of boring. Gold has been pretty predictable, I think. You know. Still push it up. Very choppy market. I mean, maybe we could attack a small range here. You guys red or green on the day? I'm going to end this poll. We're going to do another poll. Will Jerome Powell have a hawkish or dovish tone today? That's going to be my question. Again, vote on the poll, hawk or dovish tone. Black, green. All right, there's the poll. The poll is now live. You can now vote on hawk or dovish tone. Nasdaq's very choppy, very sideways. We had Goolsby speaking earlier. He basically said we're moderately restrictive. Bowman is now speaking, guys. So Bowman said, so far, I supported a quarter basis point cut. I supported a quarter point cut, but important the Fed now proactively support the job market. Expect last week's cut a first step towards a more neutral rate if the economy evolves as expected. I'm worried the Fed is behind the curve on labor market weakness. Policy may need to adjust faster if risks materialize. Important that recent statement include a forward-looking view for further cuts. It says time to act decisively on rate cuts. And I expect last week's cut to be a first step towards a more neutral rate if the economy evolves as expected. The Fed at serious risk of being behind the curve, and if demand conditions do not improve, businesses may begin laying off workers. We'll need faster cuts if job market continues worsening, and the tariff impact on inflation will fade. Inflation is otherwise near target. Labor market could deteriorate fast in the coming months. I'm concerned that housing weakness could lead to an accelerated drop in values. So basically, Bowman is very dovish. Thinks we should cut fast. Worried about weakness in the labor market, deteriorating house prices. And yeah, that's what Bowman said. So yeah, again, Bowman said, I am concerned that housing weakness could lead to an accelerated drop in values if demand conditions don't improve. Businesses may begin laying off workers. But Bowman speaking now. Not really saying super calming things, I would say. But here's the speech if you want it. It's a big speech, but here it is if you want it. Just put it in chat right now if you want to check out that speech. Market's still kind of not super reactive to the speech for Bowman. Bowman is, we already know what, okay. Bowman is going to side with the president. And so she's always going to be dovish if the president wants rate cuts. She's going to pressure rate cuts, right? This is just how she behaves. You got other people on the other side that are going to kind of do the opposite, right? It's all very political. But she almost always is pushing for lower rates, fearful of labor and economic weakness coming in the future, right? Like that's Bowman's stance the last year, basically. Right, so that is her, basically her take on it. Also, give me a follow on x.com at beginner trades. So again, she essentially said fully supported the FOMC cut and suggests committee should have started lowering rates earlier. Sees emerging weakness in labor as a key concern. Shifting focus to employment mandate, believes inflation risks have diminished and expects the effect of any new tariffs to be minimal. Advocates for proactive, forward-looking approach to future monetary policy rather than reacting to every data point. I'm really surprised that all these rate cuts are not really pushing crypto all as much as expected. What rate cuts? 125 basis point, 0.25% cut. You know, we're still doing QT. We're not really, outside of the 25 basis point cut, we're not really easing heavily as of now. And there's a lot of questions about whether we're going to continue to ease into the future, to be honest. So, like, Powell speaking at 12:35 today. And we're going to stream it. But yeah. Yeah, we got Flash Manufacturing Services going live at 9:45. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so the president said to speak at 9:50 today at the UN General Assembly. To clarify, so just be ready for that. Yeah, and Bitcoin a lot of the time is buy the rumor, sell the news. And so Bitcoin pushed up a lot into this easing cycle starting potentially, and then it's kind of faded back down if we look at it, you know. We did pull back. I kind of want 25,000 if we can get a dip down there, but I think I'll wait. Very flat. Very flat. We got the opening bell in 20 minutes though. So, I'll speak at 12:35. Any news? Yeah. So, Nvidia is investing 100 billion into OpenAI. OpenAI surged. We had a couple other companies that ran from this. A couple other companies that failed. Supermicro Semiconductors. Like if you look at Nvidia, this news came out midday yesterday. It's still affecting markets, so it's a reason Nvidia is close to all-time highs right now. And Nvidia did break all-time highs yesterday, as this news came out right here. One of the ones that I was shocked to see didn't react as favorably was Microsoft. Microsoft, like, is partnered up with Nvidia, and it really didn't react. I guess it did react a little bit here, but not nearly as much as I thought it would. We had Supermicro Semiconductors that obviously followed this move. Look at this big move on Supermicro. We had MU, which I think followed this move too. Yeah, MU ran into this move as well. So a couple other stocks that kind of moved with it, but yeah. Yeah, we're back down to 25K. I might buy this dip now. In a choppy range. We're down enough here so I can maybe buy a little bit. We're green on the day. I start with 1 and then add as we get closer to 25K. I'd prefer 25K even, but if we go green, I'll probably add a little bit more. We added one more here. We got 20 minutes into the opening bell. That should give us enough time to have a good trade. The range is small right now, though. It really is. The range is not. All right, we're up a little bit. Yes, I'm streaming Powell later. It's at 12:35, so this is in a few hours. In 3 hours. But yeah, we're gonna stream it, but it's not for a while. All right, we're up a little bit more in this one. Google up a little bit today as well. What about AMD? They reacted negatively, huh? 11, yeah. All right, so we're still green. Gold is spiking up right now. It's at 38.20s. It's getting very close to all-time highs. Powell is going to speak after the Fed's first rate cut today. Again, 12:35. Fed rates 25 basis points. Investors are watching. All right, so just in, the SEC is going to allow crypto companies to launch products in the U.S. without burdensome regulatory requirements. Still got us stuck in this range. The market's not moving. We got 15 minutes. Maybe it'll move at the opening bell. All right, guys. I'm hoping we bounce right here and we continue to go green. Bitcoin right around the previous closing price, so it's pretty much flat. Applied Digital already went up 25%. You think it'll go up more? I don't know. That's a crazy chart, bro. Applied Digital was at $5 back in, what is this? May? $5 in May. On the year itself, it opened the year at $8. It's now at 25. So we're probably going to cut this. This looks like news-driven move, and so I'm going to get out. Big drops. Again, we're pretty much flat on the day. Might not be news-driven. I'm not sure. Trade desk. I don't. This looks news driven. It looks like some volatility is happening, but again, I'll probably just wait for the bell. We got 14 minutes left. Super micro is wild though. It moves up and down so big. Still looking for news, but I don't see as many. ATHA Energy makes major new discovery at Angelac project, drills best exploration hole to date. News release. Russia's largest online retailer, Wildberries, launched Bitcoin and crypto payments in Belarus. We do have some Bitcoin adoption spreading. Yeah, I'll probably just wait. We got the market on open coming up in about 7 minutes or so. Stocks are going to drop soon, you think, Cal or Comp? There's no reason for them to move upwards for the next few weeks. I mean, maybe. Nothing's absolute. There's variance with everything. Nothing's definitive. Like, we don't know what markets are going to do. We could have low inflation data next week or at the end of this week, and markets could pump. We could have, you know, there's a lot of stuff that could happen. Next week, we got a new labor report. If that shows, I don't know what the market wants at this point in time, but a lot of stuff could happen. I try to tell people, nobody freaking knows. Market's going up, down, or sideways. One thing the Wolf of Wall Street got right was that, you know. Still kind of want to buy this, but I'm gonna wait just for risk management. I believe low inflation data will be okay. Yeah, I think low inflation data is gonna be it depends on how low, right? Like a really, really low inflation report can freak everybody out because that can show a slowing economy, if that makes sense. But a decent amount lower than expected, but not too low, is the sweet spot. If it's too low, it can freak everybody out. It's kind of like a 50 basis point cut might freak people out too because it shows panic. But it depends, right? But a low inflation data, I would say, is generally good because the market wants rate cuts. Low inflation data opens the door for rate cuts, as well as makes people a little bit more optimistic about everything. But again, nothing's absolute. Like, we could do the exact opposite of that. Like, we can move the other direction very easily. And yeah, I see small caps running up a lot. I hear a lot of people, a lot more people are talking about small caps here. It's not really my style. I'm not really gonna mess with them like that. But all right, look at gold come back down. We got 10 minutes left, chat. Yeah, so the General Assembly, I think they're talking right now. Here's one of them.
For so many more.
No. I'll wait for the president to speak. I think that's probably going to be a situation that moves markets a little bit. So just be ready at 9:50 today. The Prez is supposed to speak at the UN meeting, conference thing. All right, guys, 9 minutes. Markets are quiet ahead of the opening bell today. We did a poll here asking, do you think Powell will have a dovish or hawkish tone? 55% think hawkish, 45% think dovish. If he's hawkish, gold will probably spike. Because if he's hawkish, it means he fears inflation, and then, you know, gold is a hedge. But yeah, we've looked at yields. Yields are up a little bit as well. Like, if we take a look at TNX here, which is 10-year treasury yields, you move the decimal place over 1 to see what the yields currently are, right? So this is 41.31. You move the decimal place over. Yields are currently 4.131% for 10-year treasury yields, right? And this was like right before the Fed meeting. They were at almost exactly 4%. And so they've gone up a little bit after the Fed meeting. Although the Fed meeting, I would say, was pretty dovish overall. But yeah, that's kind of where they're at now. Those people, I think Powell, I'm going to go with hawkish for balance, right? Like last time he was more dovish than I thought. I think Powell will be more hawkish this time, which might be good for gold. And gold's already around all-time highs. But again, just to preface this, I genuinely have no freaking idea what the market's going to do here. No idea what the market's going to do. NASDAQ did bounce at 25, kind of faked me out a little bit, but it's all right. I'm going to wait till the opening bell. I've done much better trading gold in the last week than I have traded stocks. He's almost always wearing a variation of purple. I'm going to go with light purple. It was dark purple last time. I'm going to go with like light purple. You know, that's my guess today is light purple, kind of a lavenderish tie. But you never know. Maybe he's not wearing a tie. People always say red or green. I don't think Powell would ever wear a red or green tie. I think it would give too much of a signal in terms of things, right? And he understands. He doesn't want people to interpret it. I would say it's almost always purple or like sometimes it's gray, right? Like sometimes it's a gray tie. But yeah. I don't think he's necessarily partial to it. I just don't think he wants to wear red or green on his tie because he's worried people are going to use that to try to, you know. And so I think he tries to pick neutral colors. Neutral colors. So purple, gray, you know. I don't think he wants to go one-sided and wear a red tie. People will be like, oh, it's a red tie, you know, or a green tie, you know. Right, exactly. All right, NASDAQ very flat range. We got 5 minutes left. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. It's a busy week. The first half of the week's just boring, you know, except for Powell today. Yeah. I think gold's where smart money went the last few weeks. Yeah, you can give me a follow on x.com at Beginner Trades. At Beginner Trades on X. We've been growing that a lot lately. It's been nice. So help your boy grow at Beginner Trades. We appreciate it. Yeah, we're watching Nvidia here. Nvidia's sideways though. It's not doing anything. It pumped up big yesterday and now it dipped a little bit and it's sideways chopping right now. And I think it's kind of leading the market too. With the big news yesterday, I think anytime a stock has a big catalyst, the market kind of follows that stock a little bit more heavily. Following it, and so I think that's a dynamic we're probably going to see with Nvidia today. I'm going to pay attention to it after the opening bell, but you never know. You never know. Yeah, the Nasdaq, like the Nasdaq versus the S&P is more tech heavy. Like it's more weighted to tech stocks. It's also only 100 stocks versus 500. S&P is more diversified, but the Nasdaq is more centralized to tech. It has other stocks too. Don't get me wrong, but the weight of tech in the Nasdaq is higher. That's why it's a little bit more volatile. It follows Mag 7 stocks a little bit more, so it's just a little bit more volatile there. Yeah, precious metals, they've been doing really well. Yo, the bond market's huge. It influences a lot of things, right? Yeah, a lot of people said the president was supposed to speak about crypto yesterday or today sometime. He's scheduled to do 2 speeches today. One is at 9:50. It's at the UN meeting, General Council meeting. And then the other one, I think, was scheduled for like 7-something p.m. tonight, Eastern. Not 100% sure. I'm just looking at what is scheduled for the president. So if crypto is speculating that he's going to do some big announcement, I don't know. But that's kind of what's going on right now that I see. One at 9:50 in about 20 minutes. The other one late this evening tonight. All right, guys, we got 2.5 minutes until the open. Yeah, I think it's scheduled. Let me see what time it is. It's later today. Yeah, I'm showing 7:20 p.m. Eastern. So. Two minutes, chat. 2 minutes. Nasdaq breaking under 25,000 here. Oh, my top step charts are fine. Waiting for when they make us all go cashless. I mean, I don't think they're making us. I think we already are pretty much cashless right now. How often do you use cash to pay for things? You know? Cash is probably what, less than 10% of purchases? I'm not gonna change time frames. I'm just gonna leave it here so it works. All right, guys, 30 minutes or 30 seconds. Gold in a range. Nvidia still elevated from yesterday, and the TNX showing a little bit lower interest rate sentiment today versus yesterday, but still up to 4.12%. Nasdaq getting a little pop. I don't see any other breaking news, and here's the opening bell pretty soon here. The current administration proposes new H-1B visa process favoring higher skilled, better paid workers. A Federal Register. All right, here's the opening bell. Here's the bell. Nvidia dipping right now. I'm going to pull up like Apple because it's been one of the reasons the market's been running. Look at Apple run again at the opening bell at 257, almost 257 for Apple. Look at Apple run, Nvidia dipping. Nasdaq coming down net from it. Gold dipping down too. Alex speaks at 12:35. It's right at the bottom of the screen here. Retracing a little bit on Nvidia and the Nasdaq in turn. Again, I think the Nasdaq's gonna follow Nvidia a lot, but all right, we're only about a minute into the day here. Google pushing up at the bell. So is Apple. Nvidia falling. Nvidia is starting to push back up here. I almost want to buy this dip now. Too early though. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's a good thing. Look at Nvidia. Hard to tell what it's gonna do. It's so choppy and rangy at the open. Too early. Yeah, I'm looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin hadn't really moved though. It's up a little bit, but not much. Should I have bought the dip here, guys? I think Nvidia is close enough to all-time highs. We are now 2 minutes into the day. Apple giving it back a little bit now, though. Should have bought the dip. It would have worked. Look, we tapped 25,000 here now. The Nvidia is starting to come back down here. Again, I gotta wait. This range is way too tight. Maybe if we break the range, I'll do something. I'll speaks 12:35 market time. Bought the dip. See, what's weird is Nvidia's coming back down to the bottom of the range. Apple's starting to push back up. Yeah, I got PMI news coming in 15 minutes. I think it's flash manufacturing and services. Yeah. All right, Nasdaq's very flat. Yeah, so we have services. Look at the NASDAQ rip. I should have bought the dip. Honestly, I've noticed these like trends that are you're able to kind of see a few minutes into the day. It's still a little too early for me though, but it's all good. All right, we got Flash Manufacturing and Services PMI in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Look at that big turn here. The Meta announces the launch of Super PAC to combat AI regulation. Revolut is going to invest $4 billion in the UK via Bloomberg. Will be spending $13 billion as part of a drive towards 100 million users. Nvidia is still down, kind of correcting a little bit from this move here. Look at the drops happening. I think people just taking profit at the top of the range. I guess it's a good thing I waited to trade, but I think if I bought down here and sold up here, I could have made money, of course, but Apple's still pushing up. Still so close to the momentum range here, though. Following through a little bit. I think we got to watch Nvidia here, too. Yeah, put an arrow at the Powell speech time. I definitely looking reddish now, but that's assuming the market trends in an easy direction today. Nvidia still cracking lows though, trying to get under. If Nvidia gets to 180, I'll buy the NASDAQ. Look at these drops. Let me draw some levels here. 75 is right here. $50. Bounced around 75. Gold's close to all-time highs here. All-time highs on gold. There's 75 bounce. Probably look at this. Still looking kind of weak here. Apple is turning, so is Nvidia. What gold does right here. Shorting this 85 level, maybe? I don't know. I'm not telling you to do it. Don't copy me. Dow hits intraday record high. Again, Meta's launching a super PAC to fight AI regulation. Apple holding a little bit, so is gold. Since gold is so close to all-time highs, I did end up buying gold here. But it's pretty small. I want to give it a chance to make a run up there to all-time highs. I think it's hard to gauge here. There's the NASDAQ on the right. I'm gonna take half off right there. I'm gonna try to let the rest run a little bit more. Gold's so close to all-time highs. There we go. Dude, I might be a gold trader, bro. Honestly, look at this. There you go. All-time highs. I'm gonna cover at all-time highs right here. I'm now green on the day. Oh, we didn't quite get all-time highs. Oh man, I thought this was it. That's not it. It's 25s. NASDAQ just dumped down. I might be a gold trader. PMI data coming out in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. It's futures, Pedro. It is gold futures. Micro gold futures is what I just day traded. I was trading gold. Day trading gold. It's more predictable, I think. Maybe less influence and manipulation from it versus the NASDAQ. American Airlines reportedly been subject to a data breach. I don't fly American Airlines. That's good. I mean, not good for me, you know. Sorry to hear, but. All right, NASDAQ flushing down here. I'll put the NASDAQ back up. Look at this red showing up. Is this news related? Is the president speaking? No, he's not. He's supposed to speak in 8 minutes. NASDAQ is dumping here, though, giving back some of these big gains it's made. $950s. 950. Got the bounce basically right there. He's not speaking yet. He's supposed to speak in 7.5 minutes. All right, guys. Yeah, we'll cover the president speaking as well when he starts. Some of it, not all of it, for sure. All right, NASDAQ just cracked lows again. Listen, PMI data drops very soon. Very soon. 2 minutes. 2 minutes for PMI data. PMI expected at 52.2 for manufacturing. Services expected at 54 for and again, the president speaks about 5 minutes later. This drops in about a minute and a half. This is flash data here, by the way. Flash data. All right, guys, here we go. We got about a minute left. Again, manufacturing expected at 52.2. Services expected at 54 here. Drops in about a minute. Okay, the president's posts, I have decided that no meeting with their congressional leaders could possibly be productive, end quote. All right, guys, less than a minute. Let's see what the full context of this quote was. Okay. A lot of partisan stuff. All right, guys, 30 seconds here. 30 seconds. Here we go. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. You'll catch up to the stream if you do. You put it in 2x speed. We got 20 seconds. Hit the live button though. And here's the report. 52.2 expected for manufacturing. And we got 10 seconds. All right, and here's the report right now. All right, 52 for manufacturing and 53.9 for services. All of this was lower than expected. Again, 52 for manufacturing, 53.9 for services. Again, 52 for manufacturing. And then 53 last time. Oh my gosh, bro. They put the music on now. Market's not really behaving, but again, manufacturing showed up at 52 versus 52.2. Services was 53.9 versus 54 expected. So all of it weaker than expected. Nasdaq is actually going up a little bit on this report. Yeah, gold down a little bit. Global composite was 53.6. Yeah, and then the president speaks in again 4 minutes. 4 minutes. See what he says. I don't know how much he's gonna move markets today. Hey. Yeah, gold coming back down here. We had weak global services and weak global manufacturing data. Both of them were lower than expected. But yeah, the VIX is probably going up right now with all this weakness here. Yeah, look at the VIX spike. Again, if you want to help support the channel, we've been day trading gold on Top Step, doing pretty well today. We're green on the day. A great way to learn. Most day traders lose. It doesn't matter where you go, who your mentor is, what course you take, you're probably going to lose. This is what a lot of people pushing like courses don't tell you, is that regardless of what they do, you're probably going to lose in the beginning. So does it make any sense to fund your own account? No. Instead, try Top Step. $50 a month for the base one. No PDT rule. Get you around the PDT where you can day trade the S&P and NASDAQ, gold, commodities. Patterns are similar to blue chips. No PDT rule. $50 a month for the base one. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. If you fail it, you lose $50. 90% split once you're funded. Some of the best rules in the game. They now have their back to funded option. Lets you reset funded accounts and more. You can check them out here. Top 3 most biased ever though, I would say. I get paid by them. They're a sponsor of mine. I am biased. Understand all this stuff on screen. Can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. Don't copy me. Half the time I have no idea what I'm talking about. Don't do it. And here's the link if you want to check them out. Yeah, the president's supposed to start in 1 minute now. Nasdaq bouncing back here a little bit. Yeah, I lost thousands. Yeah, sorry. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The president is usually late. So we'll see what happens now. But gold falling down a little bit. And this is the head of Powell today, guys. Remember, Jerome Powell speaks later. Be ready. Powell does speak. We will see what he says. All right, so there's 1250. But yeah, the Brazilian guy speaking right now. Brazilian president. Gold news? Maybe, yeah. Look at gold fall here. Look at this. Still dropping. So S&P's Williams says while tariffs are still driving up input costs in both manufacturing and services, fewer firms are able to raise selling prices to offset them. This suggests margins are being squeezed, but also points to a potential moderation in inflation. As of the S&P Services report, Global Manufacturing PMI report. You can find that report right here if you want to see it. Gold's still flushing down here at 3807 now, 3807. Basically, the PMI report suggested inflation might be moderating a little bit, but looks like we got out almost at the top here. Yeah, so we bought gold again here. I'll show you the rest of this trade. Pretty green in it. It was just extended on the downside. I'm going to take this off here, probably. There we go. We're up really nicely here. We've made a lot of good trades on gold. Buying dips. Mostly on the long side. Yeah, I mean, I'm day trading gold, guys. And so you telling me hours ago to buy gold or whatever, I don't know. Again, it's mostly random. Like the reason I bought this dip is because it was a really dippy dip. We had big breakdowns short term. Like look at this big breakdown in gold. So I mean, it's logical to assume, okay, we're gonna get a exhaustion bounce at least, and so buying that dip, scalping the range makes more sense. And I think I'm better at scalping gold too. Brazilian President Lulu says attacks on judiciary systems are unacceptable. All right, so we had Bowman speak. We got Powell speak later. Yeah, when are does the MU earnings drop today? No. Wait. Yes, so we do have MU earnings at 4 p.m. today. 285 EPS expected, 11.07 billion in revenue. Still got the Brazil guy speaking. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to close the stream down here. Check out Top Step one more time. Beautiful way to help support the channel. No PDT rule. Beautiful way. No PDT rule. Great way to learn. Again, most day traders lose. It doesn't matter what course you take. You're probably going to lose. Does that mean that you should fund your own account 5K just to give it back? Of course not. You can still risk something. 50 bucks on Top Step for the base one. Not the end of the world. Great way to learn. Check them out. Link is pinned at the top of the chat. But I'm going to get out of here. Listen, as soon as I close this stream, again, and remember, understand all this stuff. I'm going to get out of here. We got Powell speaking in a few hours. I will be streaming this live. As soon as I close this stream, it's going to redirect you to the Powell stream. We will be starting and streaming the full Powell speech live. Okay, so as soon as we close this down, it's going to bring you to the Powell speech. Wait there if you want, you know. Wait there if you want to. No bathroom breaks, no music. Focus, you know. And I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Again, I'll see you guys in a couple hours. Don't go anywhere. The president does set to speak, but he's late, and he's always late. And I don't know. I'm not going to sit around waiting for him to speak. So we're green today on gold. Red on NASDAQ, but green net today. So that's always good. And yeah, y'all be careful. Again, as soon as we close this stream, it should redirect you to the Powell speech stream. Again, 12:35 p.m. Eastern time is when it's scheduled. I'll see you guys over there. Good luck. See you guys in a few hours.